The battle-scarred veteran sat across from the human, his mandibles twitching in nervous anticipation. Vek'Thal had fought in countless wars across the stars, leading his platoons through the blood and fire of 100 campaigns. He had seen the rise and fall of empires, crushed insurgencies, and even survived the slaughter of his homeworld. And yet, in this moment, he found himself unnerved. The human before him, Captain Elias Grant, had a casual demeanor, his scarred hands wrapped around a cup of some steaming liquid. His kind had a reputation, one that sent shivers through the bones of even the fiercest warriors in the galaxy. But Vek'Thal wanted to hear it for himself. So, Vek'Thal rumbled, his deep voice laced with curiosity, "Tell me, human. Why does your kind strike fear into the void?" Elias smirked, taking a slow sip from his cup before setting it down. "You ever heard of the Battle of Starlance?" Vek'Thal tilted his head slightly. "It was before my time. But I have read about it. Your kind held against a fleet 10 times your size. A battle of desperation, yes." Elias chuckled. "Desperation? Maybe at first. But we don't fight to win, Vek'Thal. We fight to make sure the enemy wishes they'd never started the fight in the first place." Vek'Thal leaned forward, intrigued. He had seen his own warriors battle with fury, with a sense of honor. But humans were different. There was something darker lurking beneath their tactics, something that spoke of an abyss from which they drew their resolve. Elias continued. "We were outnumbered, outgunned, and cut off from reinforcements. The enemy thought we'd surrender, maybe beg for mercy." His grin faded. "We didn't. Instead, we turned Starlance into a graveyard. We booby-trapped everything. If they took a corridor, the walls collapsed on them. If they captured one of our men, they detonated their own suits. We even turned the corpses of our fallen into traps." Vek'Thal stiffened, his claws tightening against the table. "You weaponized your dead?" Elias nodded. "Oh, we did worse. We made sure every inch of ground they took was paid for in agony. We let some of their soldiers run back, let them tell their commanders what they'd seen. And when they hesitated, when their morale wavered, that's when we struck." Vek'Thal could feel a chill creeping up his spine. This was not the way of war he had known. Honor-dictated combat should be fierce but with purpose, a path toward victory or surrender. But humans, they turned war into something else entirely. A horror show. Elias leaned back, his gaze distant. "We won, but only a handful of us walked away. You see, Vek'Thal, our greatest strength isn't our weapons or our ships. It's that we are willing to go further than anyone else. We don't break, we break the enemy." Vek'Thal felt something he had not experienced in years, fear. Not of Elias specifically, but of what his people were capable of. The stories he had heard had been true. Humans did not fight for mere survival. They fought to ensure their enemies would never challenge them again. As Elias finished his drink, he looked at Vek'Thal with a knowing smile. "Now, tell me, old warrior, still think your kind are the deadliest in the galaxy?" Vek'Thal had no answer. For the first time in his long years, he questioned everything he had ever known about war. And for the first time, he truly understood why the galaxy shuddered in fear at the mention of humanity.